Hello and welcome, ambitious English learners, to our advanced podcast space. This is the program where we don't just teach you vocabulary, we equip you with the psychological and practical frameworks to truly unleash your English potential. I am your host, Caspian.
And I am Alara. We are absolutely thrilled you have joined us today. This episode is specifically designed for learners who are ready to move beyond textbook drills and integrate English into the very fabric of their daily existence. Today, we are tackling the most frequently asked question: how can I practice English every single day, even when I'm busy, shy, or live in a non-English speaking environment?
It is the ultimate dilemma, Alara. Many learners operate under the illusion that fluency is geographically dependent. They believe that a move to London or New York is the prerequisite for mastery. However, we are here to dismantle that myth. Linguistic acquisition is not determined by your postal code. It is determined by your daily habits and the deliberate strategies you employ.
Precisely. You don't need a native speaker sitting next to you. You don't need to spend hours nightly hunched over a grammar book. What you need is a system, a set of small, high-impact, repeatable actions that seamlessly integrate into your existing routine. We are going to explore these strategies in depth, and we will do so using advanced, nuanced vocabulary to stretch your linguistic capabilities.
So, let's begin with a foundational technique that is often underestimated: shadowing. It's a term frequently thrown around in language learning circles, but its profound implications are rarely explored. Shadowing is not merely parroting, it is a sophisticated psychomotor exercise that bridges the gap between auditory comprehension and oral production.
In simple terms, it involves listening to a speaker, like us right now, and simultaneously repeating what you hear, mimicking the rhythm, intonation, and speed. But why is it so powerful, Caspian?
Because it engages the brain's mirror neuron system. When you shadow, you are training your motor cortex to replicate the complex articulatory movements required for English phonetics. You are bypassing the cognitive bottleneck of translation. You are moving from mere comprehension to active, instantaneous production. Let's demonstrate. I will say a sentence, and I encourage you, the listener, to shadow it in the pause that follows.
Yes, simply attempt to mirror the sound, even if you miss a few words. Don't stop to translate, just echo. I am actively rewiring my brain for English fluency. Pause.
Excellent. Again, shadowing trains my mouth to move with the rhythm of the language. Pause. You see, at first it may feel clunky and unnatural. Your mouth might stumble. That is perfectly fine. You are not aiming for perfection, you are aiming for practice. You are building the neural pathways that will eventually make speaking feel automatic.
And that brings us to the core question: how can we build this into a robust daily routine? Many learners feel overwhelmed. They think, I'm busy, I'm nervous, I don't know where to start. Let's dismantle this paralysis by presenting a systematic 5-pillar framework for daily immersion.
A brilliant structure. Let's call these the pillars of English unlocking. Pillar number 1 is active and passive auditory immersion. Listening is the bedrock of fluency. If your ears are not calibrated to the rhythm and cadence of English, your mouth will never produce it authentically.
We need to differentiate here. Passive listening is when you have English playing in the background while you clean, commute, or exercise. You are not hyper-focusing on the content, but your brain is still subconsciously absorbing the phonetics and musicality of the language. Active listening, conversely, is when you are fully focused, stopping to analyze a phrase or understand a complex nuance.
Exactly. The recommendation is to create a landscape of English sound around you. You can listen to our podcast, an English audiobook, a YouTube video, or even the news. The objective is to expose your auditory system to the language for at least 10 to 15 minutes daily. It's about consistent input. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. Feed it English patterns and it will eventually identify them automatically. Let's move to pillar 2, which is closely linked to the first, the art of vocal shadowing. Listening alone is not insufficient. You must engage your vocal apparatus. This isn't just repetition, it is the deliberate cultivation of prosody, the stress, intonation, and rhythm of English. English is a stress-timed language, meaning the rhythm is determined by the stressed syllables. If you ignore this, you will sound robotic and unnatural. To practice this, you don't just repeat words, you mimic the flow. You catch the melody of the sentence. For example, I am learning to speak with natural fluency. If you just say it monotonously, you lose the meaning. Shadowing rewires your speech patterns. It teaches your tongue and lips the mechanics of English.
Pillar 3 is the crucial cognitive shift, internal monologue retraining, or simply thinking in English. This is often the most challenging barrier for intermediate learners. They mentally construct sentences in their native tongue and then translate. This process adds a latency that significantly impedes conversational flow. To combat this, you must start seeding your internal voice with English.
It begins with micro-thoughts. When you wake up, rather than thinking in your native language, force a simple English thought. I am awake. I need coffee. The weather looks cold today. It seems trivial, but it is profoundly powerful. You are training your reticular activating system, RAS, to prioritize English processing. Later, you can verbalize these thoughts out loud. It creates a private, judgment-free zone for you to practice.
Pillar 4 is active articulation through reading aloud. Silent reading is a cognitive luxury, but vocal reading is a physical necessity for fluency. When you read aloud, you're engaging your visual cortex, your speech motor cortex, and your auditory cortex simultaneously. It is a comprehensive neurological workout.
I highly recommend selecting a short article or a page from a novel. Read it slowly, focusing on enunciating each word clearly. Then read it again, focusing on flowing between the words, connecting them naturally. Finally, read it with emotional expression. Pretend you're an actor delivering a monologue. This practice eradicates hesitation and builds muscle memory for common phrasal structures.
And finally, Pillar 5 is what we call life integration, or environmental scaffolding. This is where you stop treating English as a subject and start treating it as a functional tool for living. It's about building an immersive ecosystem around yourself, regardless of your physical location.
How do you build such an ecosystem? First, you can alter your digital environment. Change your smartphone's operating system language to English. This forces you to encounter English words dozens of times daily, settings, notifications, app names. It's a form of passive, high-frequency vocabulary acquisition.
Next, implement a micro-journaling practice. Instead of a lengthy essay, write just 3 sentences in a notebook daily, summarizing your day. Today, I had a productive meeting. I felt tired in the afternoon. I enjoyed my dinner. This forces you to actively recall and construct grammatical structures in a realistic context.
Another powerful tactic is the 1-minute voice memo. At the end of the day, open your voice recorder and speak for exactly 1 minute. Describe your day, your emotions, or a challenge you faced. Don't edit yourself. Just speak. This cultivates unplanned speech, which is the absolute measure of fluency. When you listen back to these recordings, you become your own teacher. You'll hear your own errors and notice your own progress.
We must also discuss community. Join online English forums, Discord servers, or Telegram groups dedicated to English learners. Even if you just lurk, reading conversations, your brain is absorbing the modern, colloquial structure of the language. Eventually, you can contribute, building your written confidence before you speak.
Now, let's delve deeper into the psychological obstacles that undermine these practices. It's crucial to address the enemies of consistency, fear of judgment, and perfectionism.
Absolutely. Many learners avoid speaking because they're afraid of making mistakes. They suffer from a form of imposter syndrome, where they feel they need to be perfect before they can participate. However, we must reframe this. Mistakes are not failures, they're diagnostic data. Every error you make provides specific feedback on what your brain needs to adjust.
This ties into the concept of deliberate practice, which is distinct from mindless repetition. Deliberate practice involves focusing on your weak points, repeating the difficult parts, and seeking constant feedback. For instance, if you struggle with the TH sound, you don't avoid it. You actively seek it out in shadowing exercises. You amplify it. You attack your weaknesses.
A common phrase is, confidence comes before competence. Actually, the neurobiology suggests otherwise. Competence, even perceived or small competence, generates the dopamine release that builds confidence. So to build confidence, you don't wait to feel ready. You start speaking badly. You start shadowing imperfectly. You make the ugly recordings. These actions generate the small wins that aggregate into genuine self-assurance.
This connects beautifully to the concept of micro habits. Do not set a goal to speak English perfectly for 2 hours. That is psychological suicide. Set a goal to listen to one English podcast for 5 minutes. Micro habits are so small that your brain cannot logically reject them. They bypass the procrastination loop. Once you start the 5-minute exercise, you will often find yourself extending it to 15 minutes. This is what we call momentum.
We have covered significant theoretical ground today. To ensure our advanced learners truly assimilate this, let's extract and crystallize the powerful vocabulary we've woven into our discussion.
An excellent proposition. Let's dive into the lexicon. First, we have neuroplasticity. This is the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Example, shadowing leverages neuroplasticity to physically rewire my speech pathways.
We used mirror neurons. These are neurons in the brain that fire both when an individual acts and when they observe the same action performed by another. Example, mirror neurons allow me to naturally mimic the accent when I shadow a native speaker.
Another crucial term is prosody. This refers to the patterns of rhythm, stress, and intonation in a language. Example, mastering English prosody is more important than mastering individual vowel sounds for sounding natural.
We discussed the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is the bundle of nerves at the brainstem that filters out unnecessary data so the brain can focus on what's important. Example, by thinking in English, I am programming my RAS to notice English patterns everywhere I go.
We also introduced cognitive bottleneck. This refers to the processing delay caused when the brain is forced to translate from the native language to the target language. Example, thinking in English eliminates the cognitive bottleneck that makes me freeze in conversations.
We also covered imposter syndrome. This is the psychological pattern where individuals doubt their skills and fear being exposed as a fraud. Example, overcoming imposter syndrome is essential for me to speak English without paralyzing fear.
And finally, deliberate practice. This is a focused, purposeful, and systematic approach to improving performance, designed to push you just beyond your current abilities. Example, rather than casually reading, I engage in deliberate practice by shadowing the same difficult sentence until it feels natural.
These terms are not just jargon. They are the vocabulary of your own transformation. As we conclude, let's synthesize our 5 pillars and psychological insights into a single, actionable call to action.
Dear learner, you do not need a plane ticket. You need a paradigm shift. Starting tomorrow, choose one pillar to focus on. If you struggle with pronunciation, start with shadowing. If you struggle with vocabulary, start with passive listening during your commute. If you struggle with hesitation, start with the 1-minute voice memo.
We also have a comprehensive PDF companion for this episode. It includes the full transcript of this advanced discussion, the complete vocabulary glossary, and a practical daily checklist to implement these 5 pillars in your life. You can find the link right in the description below.
We implore you to comment below with one specific commitment you are making today. Perhaps you will change your phone's language, or perhaps you will start shadowing our sentences. Write it down. Externalizing your goal significantly increases the probability that you will execute it.
Your journey to linguistic sovereignty starts with a single, conscious choice. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Create it. This is Alara.
And this is Caspian. We will see you in the next episode. Keep listening, keep shadowing, and most importantly, keep speaking. Goodbye for now.